Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the first video of a series of videos covering topics to help you prepare for your future career. If you're a graduate or applying for a new job, then the first thing you want to get right is the CV. This first video will show you how to create a professional template on Word, and in the next one I'll show you what to write in it to make yourself stand out. So let's begin by creating a blank Word template. So I'll open up Word. So once you have the Word document open, the first thing we'll do is change the margins. So if you click on Layout and then Margins and then click on Narrow. So this gives us more space to write a bit more information. We'll start by creating a table. We'll click on Insert and then Table and then add a table with 1 row and 2 columns. So in this video we'll be simply creating the template, and in the next video we'll go into more details on what to write. So in the first column, we'll write our first name, and in the second column, we'll put our relevant information. So we'll do an example address. So let's say 27 example address, city, postcode, and then your email, example@gmail.com. And then you'll add your phone number. And then if you have a LinkedIn account, then I recommend that you put your LinkedIn as a hyperlink here. Now, one of the things that we'll focus on in this video is how to create a professional looking template. So for this, we want to make it look nice and easily readable for the employer. So to make it look nice, everything in this right-hand column will align to right. So just highlight the column and then click Home and then click Align to Right. So this moves everything nicely to the right-hand side. Now the main advantage of having a table and information in a table is that it's not going to move around. So you know it's going to stay where it is. So we don't want to see the border. So we'll get rid of the border by clicking on this plus icon here on the table and then click on Table Design. And then borders and no borders. So that takes the borders away. Now, just to kind of give us a guideline of what where the tables are, we'll click on the table again, click on Layout, and then click on View Grid Lines. So this gives us a grid line just to kind of tell us where the table is. And this will help us to create a proper structure. So the next section I'll write in the CV is called the summary section. So the summary is approximately 3 to 4 lines, giving a quick introduction to who you are and your background. So again, after typing summary, we'll add a table. So click on Insert and then 1 row, 1 column. This time we'll click on No Borders and then click on Top Border. So you can see there's a top border. So this kind of creates a division between each sections. So if we click on Layout again and then remove the grid lines, you can see what's happening. So this kind of separates each sections in the CV and makes it more readable to the employer. So we'll bring the grid lines back and then we'll say short summary, and then we'll leave 3 lines for the short summary. Now, one of the other things I'd like to mention is the font size and the font. I really recommend using a simple font like Calibri or Calibri Light, and I do not recommend using something like Baskerville Oldface, anything like Adobe Arabic or Adobe Caslon Pro. We want it to be nice and rounded and quite easy to read. So I'll stick to Calibri. Now you can choose Calibri Light if you like, or you can even choose Arial, which is quite a standard font. So the key thing is it needs to be easily legible. Now the font size. So the name, I will recommend having it quite bigger than the body text. So I'll change it to size 16 so it stands out. The section titles, I'll have it in capital letters and keep it at size 12. Now the main body or the main information, I'll change to a size 11. This is so we can add more information and create more room if we want to add more information. In the next section, we'll add our academic qualifications. academic qualifications. Now, if you're a graduate, I recommend you put your academic qualifications first. If you're a professional with experience, and if you're looking to change the job, then I'd say you put the professional experience first and then the academic qualifications after the professional experience. So again, we'll add a table. So this time around, we'll have 3 rows and 3 columns. And we'll move the second column to the left-hand side. So the first column is for the year. I just recommend giving the year of your qualification. And in the second column, we'll do semicolons. So because we're using a table, the semicolons will be always in line. So let's say 2017 to 2019, you're doing your A levels. And then 2019 to 2022, you are doing your undergraduate engineering. So in the UK it's 3 years, so I'll say BEng Aerospace Engineering. And then let's say from 2022 to 2023, you're doing an MSc qualification. Again, we'll get rid of the borders, so click on Table Design, no borders first, and then just the top border. Okay, so that creates the academic qualifications. If you want to add more qualifications like a GCSE, then just simply right-click on the last row, and then click on Insert, and then Rows Below. So that should create another row for you, and then you can add more information. Now I'll just get rid of this by right-clicking and deleting cells. And then I'll delete the entire row. And then we'll move on to the next section. So the next section for me will be the professional experience. Now you don't have to say professional experience, you can say work experience or past experience. It's really up to you, but I recommend using professional experience. Again, we'll add a table. So this time around, I'll create 3 rows for 3 different experiences, and then I'll highlight the tables, remove all the borders, and just add a top border. So after adding a bit of information, I recommend just clicking on layout and removing the grid lines just to see how it looks without the actual grid lines. So you can see it's getting a bit crammed in here. So I would add a space after each of these, just to kind of spread out the sections. Now if we bring back the grid lines, so if you just click on a table and then click on layout and then click on view grid lines, so I've simply added an extra line in this table, and I've simply added an extra line in this table as well. Now if you want to, you can just click here and then just add an extra line, so it's a space between the section. So that's quite acceptable as well, so you can just add an extra space here so it's nice and neat. And then we'll move on to the professional experience. So we'll start with our earliest experience. So let's say from 2010 to 2020, your title in the company or work experience you had and the company. So I'll make this bold and I'll make this size 11. And we'll add 3 bullet points. So experience, and experience. And then we'll copy and paste this into the other rows. So this could be 3 different experiences from the past. Now I'll change the date, so let's say this is 2022 to 2021, and then we'll say this is 2021 to current. So just make sure you add a bullet point everywhere. So there's a nice little structure to your experiences. Now in the next section, we'll add an extra space and then we'll say activities and interests. Now, it's quite important to include your activities and interests so the employer gets an idea of what kind of a person you are. So they do definitely want to know about your professional experience and your qualifications, but they do want to know how well you'll fit into the company and the companies and the people within the company and the team. So it's quite important to add an activities and interest section. So again, we'll add a table, 1 row, 1 column, remove the borders, and then add a top border. Now again, so in this activities and interest section, you can talk about any sporting activities that you're interested in or that you do, any extracurricular activities. So you could say you play piano, you play guitar, or you're volunteering at a particular place, those kind of things. So we'll just copy and paste this for now, and then click on home and then add the bullet point, and then we'll add the next section. So the next sections I would recommend adding is skills and achievements. So in this section, we'll again add a new row, and 1 row and 1 column this time. Remove all the borders and just add a top border. And then we'll copy and paste this for now. So in the skills and achievements, we want to talk about any particular skills, so any software skills that you have. So you might be good at MATLAB, you might be good at Python, you might be good at using SolidWorks, and so on. So achievements could be awards that you've received. You could say you were ranked 1 at university or A-levels, you had the best grade in the school, and any additional achievements that you may have. So again, we'll get to this in more detail in the next video, but we'll just continue with making our template. So in the next section, add a space, and then the last section I would recommend having is called references. Again, add a 1 row, 1 column, remove the borders, add the top border. So if you don't have any references to attach with the CV, or if you don't have anyone as a referee, then you can simply write references are available on request. Now, if you do have names for people that you can put down, then you can add 2 bullet points. So name, email, title, or relation to you. So let's copy and paste this. So ideally, you'd want to have 2 referees. So the employer can contact these people and then ask for a reference. So if you don't have any when you're writing the CV, then don't worry about it. Just say references are available on request. So this is the basic template. Now let's have a look at layout and then remove the grid lines and have a look at how the template looks. So you can see it's nicely split into different sections, quite easily readable. So if I'm an employer, then I can see, okay, there's a summary. If I want to look at your qualifications, then I can look at your academic qualifications straight away. Professional experience, okay, I want to see what kind of a person you are, so I can look at your activities. I want to look at your any special skills that you may have. I can look at your skills and achievements. And if I want to contact a referee, then I can look at your references. So it's nicely split up. Now, CVs can be 1 page or 2 page, depending on how much information you have. If you don't have enough information, if you're a graduate and if you don't have a lot to write about, then that's absolutely fine. You don't need to try and make up information to fill 2 pages. I recommend just sticking to 1 page. And if you do have information, then it's absolutely fine to have 2 pages, but definitely do not go over 2 pages. So that's a key information. So one last thing to do is quite simple, but it's one of the tips that I got when I was at university from a hiring manager from GE Aviation. So what he said was, often people, when you send a CV to HR, it lands in HR first. So HR often prints out the CVs, and it's quite important to put a page number on your CV, because if they print it out and if they lose one page, then your hiring manager might get one page and they might think, okay, you just only have one page, but in reality you did have 2 pages, but it was lost in transition. So it's quite simple. It might sound a bit silly, but we want to make sure we've done everything right from our side. So we'll simply double click on the bottom of the page and the footer option comes up, and then we'll say Benito Sebastian CV, and then we'll do tab and tab again, page 1 out of 2. That's assuming you have a 2-page CV. If it's just a 1-page CV, then we'll just say page 1 out of 1, and that's clear. So we'll say page 1 out of 2, and then we'll do a Command A, and then we'll reduce the size to about 10. So it's there now. So I hope that video was clear and easy to follow. If you have any questions, then please feel free to let me know in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. So in the next video, we'll look at what we can put into the CV to make yourself stand out. So what kind of keywords you need to use, what's the tone of voice, and how do you write your experiences in a professional way to make it stand out. Explain it in short sentences so the employer can straight away see that you have the skills that they're looking for. So that's in the next video. So if you like my videos, subscribe to my channel and tune in for the next one.